The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Education Department is now looking into claims of a maternity leave scam. We have with us DepEd spokesperson Michael Poa over Zoom to discuss that some more. Good afternoon, Attorney Poa. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. What do you know so far about this alleged scam and how is the DepEd addressing it?
Good afternoon, Ma'am Sean. Thank you for having us in your program. Well, basically, DepEd found out about the alleged maternity leave scam when it already broke out in the media. So tayo po sa DepEd, what we did was the Vice President and Secretary of Education immediately instructed for an investigation on the matter. So ano pong nangyari? Kahapon po, our regional office already formed a fact-finding committee. Yung composition po ng ating fact-finding committee are mainly personnel from the regional office and not the school's division office. Bakit po sa regional office? It's to maintain impartiality in the conduct of this fact-finding investigation. Sa ngayon po kasi, we are still trying to verify the statements made in the media. We are trying to check the records kung talagang may mga maternity leaves that were taken na hindi naman dapat. So right now, we are in the process of still verifying all these pertinent facts. And that's why I'd like to take this opportunity to also invite kung sino man ang may information ukol dito sa alleged maternity leave scam to come to the office or at least to approach yung ating fact-finding committee or regional offices para po talaga mabigyang linaw yung mga sinasabing nangyari na maternity leave scam.
All right, are you investigating this as an isolated case within just one region or has this launched, or prompted you guys to check all other regions as well, whether or not ginagawa rin itong scam?
Opo, well right now, we're really just checking ito munang mga statements na sinasabi ng na lumalabas sa media about Taguig, or Taguig Pateros, which is DepEd Tapat. But if there are also other regions that have similar scams, of course, we would also like to invite whoever DepEd personnel that has knowledge of these anomalies or these irregularities to come forward para po alam din natin where we should start and para po alam natin kung ano yung mga talagang kalakaran because we are talking about incidents that transpired from 2016 pa po yata based on dun sa mga statements na narinig natin sa media, 2016 to 2019. So we will have to look back into the records. So again, kung meron pong mga may alam na nangyari, whether it be in Taguig Pateros or in other regions, please don't hesitate to contact the central office or at least to contact DepEd officials sa kanilang regional offices para po masimulan din natin yung investigation.
Alright, and ano naman ang sanction, kung sakaling nahuli nga itong mga erring school officials or teachers, if any?
Opo, mahirap pa po sa ngayon na magsalita dahil po wala pa po tayong mga facts na hawak. Basically, under civil service rules, sanctions naman can range from reprimand to suspension to eventually dismissal from the service. But right now, as to the current issue, hindi pa po ako makapagbigay ng possible sanctions just because we are still in the process of verifying the facts.
All right, fair enough, Attorney. Moving on now to another topic. This one, konting backtrack lang tayo. Are there any updates on the investigation into the incidents of school violence over at Colegio San Agustin, as well as, other schools? I think around that same time, it was a school in Novaliches na napagtripan yung isang estudyante sa labas.
Opo, ongoing naman po yung mga investigation ng mga incidents na yan. Pagdating naman po sa Colegio de San Agustin, it's a private school over which DepEd only has reasonable supervision and regulation. But ganun pa man, when the CSA issue broke out, DepEd was already coordinating with the school heads or the school officials of Colegio de San Agustin. At ang napag-usapan naman po dyan is that they will provide us also with the results of their investigation. Tayo po kasi as part of our powers of reasonable regulation supervision, we want to ensure that the investigation is actually being conducted. And so far, it is being conducted appropriately naman po. So maghihintay lang po tayo dun sa resulta ng investigation para malaman natin kung ano nang nagawa ng CSA.
Alright, maraming salamat sa inyong oras, DepEd spokesperson Michael Poa. In other news, Senator Mark Villar is set to file the counterpart bill on the Maharlika Fund in the upper chamber. Marian Enriquez with that report.
The lower house has approved the bill creating the Maharlika Investment Fund on third and final reading. Before this, lawmakers sought to make compromises on the bill. During the period of amendments for the MIF bill, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Castro proposed to increase the percentage that will be remitted to the national government for social welfare projects from 20% to 30%. But this was thumbed down by House Ways and Means Chairman and Albay Representative Joey Salceda, who is one of the sponsors of the bill.
If we make it 30, nothing will be left of the fund. So wala na akong palalaguin, wala na akong bibigay na ayuda. So in other words, Your Honor, there is some financial limitations to really just emaciating the MIF to a point wherein it can no longer perform the objectives that the proponent wishes.
Can we have it 25%?
Your Honor, we accept 25.
Well, the majority also joins the proposal in accepting the compromise agreement.
Despite this compromise, the Makabayan bloc is still not convinced that the Philippines is ready to establish a sovereign wealth fund.
Huwag na tayong magpanggap sa usaping ito, lubog tayo sa depisito, trilyon-trilyon ng ating utang, wala tayong surplus, pero bakit gusto pa rin nating isugal ang pondo ng financial institutions natin?
House Speaker Martin Romualdez, who was also part of the ASEAN-EU Summit delegation in Belgium, told the media that he was able to talk to Senator Mark Villar, who will be filing the counterpart measure at the Senate.
It's actually picking up from what was approved at the APRO level, no? So we have a refined measure, no? And when we spoke just last night, he says he will use the draft bill that we've already refined through APRO, approved by the banking committee that's now on the floor, as the starting point. And he's very, very enthusiastic about it.
With the House approval, the bill on the Maharlika Investment Fund is now at the hands of senators. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, VR 1 News.
We're gonna pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here on 1 News. You're still watching 1 News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Time to check in on some of the latest news from around the world. Twitter has suspended the accounts of several journalists who have published about its owner, Elon Musk. Some of these suspended accounts recently wrote about the shutdown of the Twitter page tracking the billionaire's private jet flights. Musk says this particular page posts a threat to security, and that he is pursuing legal actions against the person running the account. In sports, defenders Gonzalo Montiel and Marcos Acuna will be returning to Team Argentina as they look to challenge defending champion France in the FIFA World Cup finals. Midfielder Angel Di Maria, who is recovering from a thigh injury, is also expected to be fit and ready to play for the Argentine team. The finals of the FIFA World Cup will be happening on Sunday. And Somalia has been tagged as the epicenter of a deepening hunger crisis that is worsened by climate change and ongoing insurgencies. The details in this video from Bloomberg.
As the effects of climate change become increasingly pronounced across the African continent, more than a fifth of its 1.3 billion people don't have enough to eat, with water shortages and extreme weather events being the main contributing factors. Somalia, though, is at the epicenter of this deepening climate and hunger crisis that is gripping most severely the East Africa region. Bloomberg traveled to Galkayo in central Somalia last month, where the impact of the worst drought to impact the country in 4 decades was laid bare. Vast tracts of countryside were transformed into barren wasteland, crops had been decimated, and children were dying of starvation. One woman, Nemo Hassa, had lost 5 of her 10 children to starvation and disease within the past year, after the drought wiped out most of her family's goat herd, its main source of income. Official data shows that 900 other children under the age of 5 have died across Somalia since January. The true tally is unknown and unlikely exponentially higher, because vast areas are under the control of Al-Shabaab insurgents and inaccessible to officials and aid workers. In the area surrounding Galkayo, more than half of the children are already considered malnourished. Countrywide, more than 350,000 Somalian children have been treated for the condition this year. Almost half of Somalia's 17 million people are in urgent need of aid, and more than 1 million have abandoned their homes in search of food and grazing. Rains have failed for 5 consecutive seasons, and water shortages are even worse than in the early 1990s, when a famine claimed about 260,000 lives. The UN expects a famine to be declared soon in 3 isolated regions of the country.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Supreme Court will be deciding on pending petitions concerning different issues early next year. These include election-related petitions and those challenging the no-contact apprehension program. President Marcos brought home 9.8 billion pesos worth of investment pledges from his 3-day trip to Belgium. This includes deals on maritime security and renewable energy. And the traditional Simbang Gabi kicked off today. Thousands of Filipino Catholics attended early Mass in different churches across the country. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.